Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. January 15, 2019. This is the first time we have dedicated one entire episode to one company, but given the bad news sustained by this company over the past few days, I thought it was worthwhile. That company is, of course, PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. No, this is not the 60s garage band, but the largest utility in California. We begin with an article from the Wall Street Journal, which reports that the chief executive officer, Geisha Williams, stepped down on Sunday as the company grapples with its growing political and financial fallout from the 17 wildfires that have been attributed to the utility since 2017. The interim CEO will be the company's current general counsel. Next up is another article from the Wall Street Journal that the company now faces collapse. And basically because of the situation of the fires and really the growth in California in areas that are truly tinderboxes. And when you overlay climate change, it's probably not surprising. They've had the series of breakdowns, but given the safety failures by the company and coupled with their lack of investment and climate change and the dry conditions in California, it's not too surprising as to what has happened going forward. Next up, the potential bankruptcy. The company has announced, according to the New York Times, that it will file for bankruptcy by the end of this month. Of course, bankruptcy will have lots of complications and effects for a wide variety of stakeholders. So I thought it was appropriate to end with an article by the San Francisco Chronicle, which asks, will the lights even stay on? So certainly there will be lots of impacts going forward. What about the impact of the ability of the company to operate? Typically, it would be negligible, but once you go into bankruptcy, you turn control over to someone other than the company. So the judge could certainly take up issues based upon filings made in the court. What about the employees? Well, they will certainly not be good news for the employees. If you're a retiree, you may be kissing goodbye to your pension, and if you're an employee with a long pension, you may be kissing goodbye to that, but you're certainly kissing goodbye to bonuses and raises going forward. What about wildfire victims? And certainly there have been thousands upon thousands of those. Those people are way down the line to get a recovery. Absent the California legislature stepping in for some sort of payment, the people injured and damaged by the negligence of the company will fare very poorly, as will the shareholders, who often fare very poorly in bankruptcy going forward. But here the question was even raised, what about the environment? Well, PG&E has played a big role in the state's efforts to fight climate change, and we would certainly hope that the California legislature would mandate their continued fight against dramatic effects of climate change. I hope you've enjoyed this one company episode of the Daily Compliance News. And if it is something you've enjoyed, please let me know. And when we have such a day as we had, where we can dedicate it to one company, I will do so in the future. This is Tom Fox. I'm the Compliance Evangelist. As you may know, we've had several new offerings on the Compliance Podcast Network. One of those includes Popcorn and Compliance, where Jay Rosen and I take a look at compliance through the lens of movies, both current, contemporary movies, and classic movies. Also premiering in December. And finally, Mary Shirley and Lisa Fine have premiered their new podcast, Great Women on Compliance. I hope you will check that out. It's a great podcast series. We have several other offerings that we are in production and will go live after the first of the year on the Compliance Podcast Network.